Hey everyone, I'm Jennifer Feek, a local Milton realtor here with Forest Hill Real Estate Concept and proud sponsor and ambassador of our local community website, parkbench.com, downtown Milton. We're here today with Chris Wilson, owner of Wilson Music Studio here in town, and hoping to learn a little bit more about you, Chris, and your business.
Sounds good.
Hoping you could start off by sharing a little bit about your experiences and background that have led you to opening your own music studio here in town.
Well, let me think here. So I was at UBC first. I did a degree in psychology, and that's probably 1989, so a little while ago. So during that time, I was in the music building more than anything else. So even though I did an arts degree, I did the guitar ensembles. I was in the choirs. I studied theory there. And it was just as a side thing. And then after that, it was pretty clear that I wanted to be in music. So I ended up going to McGill University for an actual proper music degree. So I did my second degree. And I applied for both piano and guitar. If I started at the very beginning, I've been doing piano, at least, or doing music, starting with piano since I was 6. And then I kind of had a break around as a teenager because I went through the Royal Conservatory stuff and kind of got burnt out on it. Picked up a guitar at 19 and then really rejuvenated everything, and it kind of exploded. That's why I was kind of so enamored with music during my first degree. Then I ended up at McGill, so I did apply for both guitar and piano, and they accepted me for piano, so I did a degree in classical piano. McGill is a huge jazz school, as is Montreal, great spot for jazz, so I started to gravitate towards that. So halfway through my degree, and I wanted to just switch from classical to jazz, and they wouldn't let me. So I finished my degree in classical piano, and then ever since I've been focusing on improvisation, and I finished that in 1994. So it's been a long time, almost 30 years of just slowly developing an ability to improvise music, and in all styles, not just jazz.
It's quite the journey.
It's a big one, yeah, and it's a lot of just reopening closed doors. And I discovered along the way that if a door is closed for you, if you really want it, you can open that door on your own. And that's kind of been a theme in my life, is to do that.
Chris, what separates Wilson Music from your competitors and other studios within town, do you think?
Okay, perhaps. I think there's probably a multitude of things. The gear helps. It really does. Having a grand piano to play on, it does inspire the kids. A tuned piano, that definitely helps. I have a drum kit here, right? So if there's a family coming, often you'll have one child that's just sitting waiting, and the other child doing their lesson. So you could get that child up and playing the drums, right? One thing I do is I'm always playing with them, meaning I'll always have my guitar in my hands, improvising some sort of accompaniment for them. So they'll be playing their song, and I'll be playing to support that underneath. And if you do that and also have drums going, you have a trio, right? And you can actually work that up to be a high-level performance, even for the mom or dad sitting there, within a half an hour. And so that in itself has, I guess, the value is it inspires the kids.
Well, hearing an ensemble makes it a whole different experience.
That's right. I have a recording studio here, so I can regularly record my students. The mics are always on and ready to go. I record onto the computer, so there's no shortage of hard disk space there these days. all the drums are mic'd, so if you want to play the drums and the piano and the guitar at the same time, we can have an instant multi-track recording, like 20, 30 tracks at a time, just not right there. What else can I think of? I think probably the key thing is it's me teaching. There's nobody else here.
There's nothing worse than like hiring a wedding photographer or something, and you think you do business with that person, and then all of a sudden a different employee shows up on the day, right? So I think there's value for sure in that, right? In that.
Yeah, and
who you get.
I've never really felt that hiring a teacher and having them do it really worked. So I do it just exclusively myself. I have 35 years of experience teaching. But I would say that the number one thing about me that's beneficial is the fact that I absolutely adore doing this. There's no faking it. As if you're not interested as a teacher, you're not going to be a good teacher, right? And I am intensely interested in this. Every day I do it. It doesn't go away for whatever reason.
So when you speak about that journey of a student, do you have a particular age of student that you prefer, or is there a right age or preferred age for somebody to start looking for, seeking out musical experience?
Well, I would say that on piano, at least 6 years old is probably a good starting place. Sometimes 5 if they're quite mature, but guitar tends to be a little bit later because they need a little bit stronger fingers to do it. But after that, it's all ages. I teach 70-year-olds. I teach 5, 6-year-olds. It's all over the place. A lot of adults have busy lives, so they can't be practicing all the time. So they'll ebb and flow with that, and you got to accept that fact, and that's fine if you can make the lesson interesting and inspiring despite that. Some of them, they don't practice because they're not that inspired at home, but when they come here, they are in love with the sound and what we do together, and that works.
For sure, that would be hard to replicate at home.
Exactly, yeah, right. You'd have to be chasing the gear like me for 30 years.
Over time, right? Something, a passion that turns into a long-term project, definitely.
Yeah.
So overall of your decades of teaching experiences, is there types of experiences or perhaps a more memorable experience that comes to the top of your mind?
I think there are just so many that it would be hard to pinpoint one of them exactly. I even had one today when I was teaching, and a lot of them are just taking somebody that is, for whatever reason, anxious and calming them down and getting a really good performance out of them within that space of time, right? Or just having, like this morning, it was just, we were playing a song about cats, and I just happened to be playing with my sons. By the way, I have 3 sons who I've taught piano to as well, and music to, and we were playing together, and we discovered this sound that we thought was really cool, and it turned out it sounded exactly like a cat. Who knew? And this kid came in, and we put that on, and it was fabulous. And that's on the keyboard, so I was playing the piano, he was playing the keyboard. When this child started, he must have been a little bit stressed, and I could not get a rhythm out of him to save either of our lives. And I thought, okay, this is going to be a problem. But as he calmed down and got used to being here, I realized that his rhythm was amazing. And sometimes that can happen. It's kind of hidden for a little while, and then it comes out. And that in itself is an experience that keeps me doing this, right? So.
And a lot of those you just can't replicate. It's
That's
a lot
right.
of in the moment.
It is really like that, and it's very serendipitous. And it's little stuff like that, day-to-day stuff that keeps me doing it. It keeps me very, very happy doing it. Yeah.
And I get it. For those people who know me and some who don't, I also work in education as a principal, and that it's that teachable moment that you can't necessarily prepare for, when the light goes on or the blink of the eyes and the sparkle, and a student is just so happy to have learned or experienced what they did. And I know that's what keeps most of us going, whether
That's right.
we're music teachers, classroom teachers, swimming teachers. It's those moments that definitely
Yeah, and that's absolutely true.
count.
So that's what keeps me doing it.
So since we're also here to talk about Milton, what are some of your favorite things or experiences that you want to share about having the ability to both live and work in Milton?
Well, I guess the number one thing is it allowed me to build my studio here. I bought this property in 2010 and tore the house down there and built here. So it was doable back then to actually, especially as a musician, to find a way to finance that. Um, and that would be difficult anywhere else. So that in itself allowed me to create my space. I really love having. There's so many families here, young families, right? And I enjoy teaching kids, so it's a perfect fit that way, right? Um, so you know, I think there's probably that's of all of the cities around the GTA, there's probably the largest concentration of different families of different cultural origins as well coming in, and it's just a nice kind of feature of the city is to see that. So,
Music is one thing that can bring a whole community together, regardless of other personal, religious, cultural beliefs in so many ways, and
that's
create
true.
something magic, right? And even if language isn't there, there's still the language of music,
That's very
which
true.
is great.
Very true.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to say to Milton potential clients, or anything that we didn't touch on?
I'm not sure. I would say that if you're interested in improvisation, that is my specialty, and I do teach jazz improvisation on both guitar and piano. Um, and I'm very interested in that, and interested in music theory, and getting that to the point where it's more of a language that you speak than something you would look into a theory book to figure out. Um, so if you're interested in that, and that could be improvisation in jazz or any kind of musical style, that's my specialty.
Well, thanks so much for agreeing to share your story and a little bit about your business with myself and with the community. Greatly appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Milton, if you want to check out Wilson Music Studio, be sure to visit their website at cuwilsonmusic.com. And for all of your other community resources, check us out at www.parkbench.com/downtown-Milton. Take care, everyone. Until next time.